One of the best college essays that I've ever read had nothing to do with the students' main passion. This math genius with national awards didn't even mention calculus once. Instead, he wrote about being a dragon, a therapist, and a crab accountant. Guess what? This story got him into Princeton, Upenn, Cornell, Duke, and more. Honestly, it's kind of strange, but out of all the essay structures that we recommend, this one tends to be the most unpopular, and yet it has the best results. Literally every single student that I worked with who used this montage essay structure got into an Ivy League school. No cap. I'm Kevin, Yale grad, amateur breakdancer, and pro college counselor who's helped seniors from every background imaginable get into every single top 20 American school, 5 years in a row. Without further ado, let's jump into this funny yet humble example Common App essay. First, I'll read it, then I'll analyze and discuss what's working. That way you guys can leverage the same techniques to get into your dream school. Candace, I'm the fastest sprinter in the world when dinner is steamed crab. But to my dismay, when I dashed into the kitchen, my siblings had already arrived in front of the steaming plate, arguing and fighting. My older sister Candace and I discussed the dilemma in whispers, debating how much crab we each should get. Should we take the largest leg for ourselves? Should we give our siblings the middle section with more meat, but also the weird yellow paste? So I devised the system to divide the crab. As Candace took care of the youngest siblings, I took out my sticky notes, giving each sibling points based on their age. Then, after some discussions and arguments with my siblings, I assigned point values to the crab. 5 points for the head, 3 points for the legs, and 2 points for the claws. Divvying up the meat and attempting to teach our little brothers subtraction, we finally dug our chopsticks into the crab, scraping out the flesh from within. Wait, what about mom and dad? Candace chuckled. Sarah, crumpled napkins on the desks and books on the ground. I'd walked into a crime scene. My little sister Sarah sees me and frantically wipes her eyes. I heard Dad yelling at you, I exclaimed, taking a seat opposite her. She throws another napkin, staring into the ground, muttering, "He said I would never go anywhere in life." You know, he said the same words to me and Candace at least 100 times, I murmur, crossing my arms and gazing at the ripped pages. But after a moment, an idea emerges. What if I told you I've got a strategy for dealing with tiger parents? Her eyes light up, interested in my proposal, and I dive into the details, adding some acting when necessary. 1. Act normal. 2. Do something you love. In her case, drawing. 3. And then, the next time mom or dad gets angry, surprise them. She looks up. Her frown melts away into laughter, nodding emphatically to the plan. Finishing my skit, I propose, let's go grab some dinner first. I heard today is crab day. Louie and Jimmy. Trapped in the backseat with my little brothers as they fight over whether to watch Peppa Pig or Paw Patrol, I try to stop them from crying and screaming. But finally, when Jimmy punches me in the forehead, I transform into a dragon, growling and breathing hot air into their faces, praying they would quiet down. Again, they yell in unison. Surprised, I glare at them, asking, so if I make even more silly sounds, do you promise to behave? Their enthusiastic nods spur me on as I stretch my vocal cords to mimic the sounds at a zoo. Monkey cries, mouse squeaks, and dolphin shrieks. Clearing my throat and taking a sip of water, I prepare my showstopper, the lion's roar. While they attempt to copy my other noises, I roar. Cowering, they hide behind their seatbelts as they glare at me. The car becomes silent. But then, giggling erupts, ha ha ha. Again, they yell in unison. From serving as crab divider to tiger parent, therapist to cackling comedian, my role as the second oldest of 6 siblings has always been that of a mediator, keeping everyone happy and entertained, even on the most boring car trips. And I'd have it no other way. Each sibling and problem has taught me invaluable skills, from learning how to navigate difficult and often bizarre situations and conversations, to finding humor in unexpected moments. Truth be told, I never imagined I'd become a cornerstone for my family. But after living with my siblings for years, I now aspire to be a brother for entire communities, fostering loving environments where I can encourage people to embrace challenges and find their sense of belonging. What a phenomenal feel-good story, guys. Again, I mentioned this before, but notice how there was literally nothing to do with the students' extracurriculars. For context, this story was written by an Asian dude who loves math, but notice how he didn't laud any of his AMC achievements. All he included about the subject was a funny little tidbit in the beginning about assigning point values to crab parts. This is such a smart tactic. I always tell our students, try to write about something that can't be found anywhere else in your application. Instead, write about who you are as a friend or sibling, who you are as a human being. If you didn't know, now you know. But family? Family is one of the most goated essay topics. A lot of times students, especially Asian ones, we talk way too much about intellectual curiosity. Remember, your academics get plenty of room to shine in your letters of recommendation, in your transcripts, in your SAT and standardized test scores. Also, quick aside, but after this video, be sure to check out this playlist where I discuss the other winning essay structures, formulas, templates, whatever you want to call them, which have helped our students get into every single Ivy League school and top 20 university. Back to the montage essay. Kevin, how exactly does it work? Similar to how a motif essay has one key object, phrase, or experience present throughout the entire story, a montage essay has a series of distinct moments, usually 3, connected by a few key themes. At the very end, we want to connect these different scenes together, articulating a secret message that no one scene could have done alone. Now, here's the thing. Each of these 3 moments can be further broken up into problem and solution. A good rule of thumb is that your solution, usually we define this as you doing good things, concrete evidence of you growing, should always be longer than your problem, which at elevated we define as things happening to you, your background information, basically anything that doesn't feature you doing amazing things for other people, we call that problem. No need to articulate the reflection or insight yet. Trust me, save that at the very end for your final paragraph. What's really important here is that throughout each scene, we should see how you operate in these different environments. How do you showcase leadership, proactivity, generosity? Also, this is paramount. When we zoom out and see the 3 scenes all together, you should become more active, more involved, more superhero-esque. In the first scene of the essay we read, the main character is a bit more passive. His contribution isn't all that impressive yet. The second scene, though, is where he starts to be making a real difference. No, he hasn't built a rocket ship to Mars, but there's proof that he genuinely cares for his younger sister, even going so far as to provide a 3-step action plan. By the third scene, we see concrete evidence of someone who's kind, spontaneous, funny, someone we would be excited to admit and accept to our future college community. That's not all, folks. Through these 3 anecdotes, our author articulates his incredible ability to adapt, how he faces challenges head on, and binds communities together through brotherly love. Another tip, just because I love you guys so much, but kids are always asking me, hey, what about transitions? And the truth of the matter is that you don't really need them, whether that's in a montage essay or a regular essay. You can just use a header. That's what this author applicant did. And his headers also doubled as a clever way to introduce each character of the scene. Another way to accomplish the same thing is you can use a punctuation mark like this little squiggly thing or an M dash. That's what I did in my own Common App essay. So yeah, it works. By the way, my dear virtual little sibling, if you're finding this helpful, don't forget to like and subscribe. Not only does this help us share more of these amazing educational resources for free with terrific students like yourself, yours truly will be editing your essays later this fall for free on YouTube. So stay tuned for that. Last year, quite a few of our students who had their essays edited on the channel, anonymously of course, got into their dream school and said it really helped. So that could be you. Let's return to the opening of this essay, the hook. R. The first scene instantly reveals the topic of this essay, family. When it comes to Common App personal statements, clarity is key. We don't want to be wondering what your essay is about after reaching the halfway point. Make it obvious, make it clear. Seriously, vagueness and confusion, these are huge red flags and admission killers. All right, the student here opens with a tale about dividing crab. At first glance, you might think that this scene is kind of mundane, but that, my friends, is precisely why it works. It's simple, but effective. Why? Because it's relatable, allowing the reader to connect on a human level with the story, and therefore the applicant. This first anecdote isn't just about eating crab. It's about how the student shows ingenuity and creates this system that contributes to his family, minus the parents. While we're here, you should also know that every essay needs a good hook. If your first 1 or 2 essays are boring or bad, turn off the admissions reader, then they have been known to skim the rest of your essay or just stop reading. It's sad but true. The 3 main types of hooks that we recommend here at elevated are the problem hook, the dialogue hook, and the question hook. For more on that, by the way, check out this video. But for now, all you need to know is that these 3 hooks really just serve one purpose: to grab the reader's interest by evoking emotion. In this case, the emotions are curiosity and maybe a little bit of joy, humor. Our example essay started with this banger of an opening line: "I'm the fastest sprinter in the world when dinner is steamed crab." This is a classic example of the problem hook, since, well, kind of establishes a problem. Crab is limited and likely to run out. That's why I'm running for the crab. Another technique this author employs incredibly well is variation. These 3 scenes demonstrate how he solved an array of different problems, math pun intended, engaging different emotions and developing different values along the way. Dividing up the crab using a point system in scene 1 demonstrates his ability to think critically. Cheering up Sarah in the second scene shows his empathy and the realness of dealing with tiger parents. And in the third scene, he reviews his ingenuity, leadership, humorous side, as he convinces his little brothers to stop fighting and settle down by making them laugh. At the same time, all 3 scenes are grounded by the overarching theme of service and the art of being a brother. The montage essay, guys, it's ultimately about your character, who you are in these authentic moments of human connectivity. Again, things that can't be found in any activities list or resume. Furthermore, all 3 scenes feature dialogue, which is honestly one of my favorite ways to make any story more engaging and memorable. And it's also one of the most concise ways to do so. Instead of just stating the emotions of the other characters, dialogue is used to show what they're feeling. This allows us as readers to envision the scenario from their point of view. For example, in the final scene, the writer says that after they imitated a dragon for their little brothers, Louie and Jimmy, the pair yelled, "Again!" He makes it so easy for us to picture that image of a pair of kids hollering in unison, and instantly that moment is embedded in our memory. Now, we've already established the importance of your hook, your opening, but the next most important section is actually your conclusion, your takeaway. This, my friends, is particularly true for montage essays, since you really have to articulate how and why your scenes gel together. That said, just because it's important doesn't mean it has to be long. Many students fit an amazing conclusion into 1 paragraph, or at most 2. When you're writing a montage essay, your very first instinct might be to summarize your story. But please resist that temptation. This is true for any essay, but you want to make sure that your conclusion gives the reader unique insight into who you are. This is the part, my dear virtual little siblings, where you answer the following questions. What do these scenes have to do with each other? And what can I offer to my future college community? My advice here is to not overthink the conclusion and just save it for last. After all, your lived experiences, those are set in stone, but your interpretation of them can always change and evolve. The conclusion, guys, it's so mission critical that I just want to spend a little bit more time on it. Stay with me. We've talked a ton about the content, but now I want to break apart the flow and analyze this last paragraph sentence by sentence. Right away, we see the author only spends 1 sentence on the summary, restating for the reader that his role in the family is that of a mediator. Nice. After that long summary sentence, he switches to a short one for a change in pace. The brevity and the use of monosyllabic words makes the message even more real, like he's talking to you face to face. The third sentence articulates the key insights learned: how to navigate difficult and bizarre situations and conversations, and find humor in the most unexpected moments. These aren't particularly groundbreaking or unique lessons, but they are very genuine and humble ones. And finally, instead of just reflecting on the past, he adds that he now aspires to be a brother to entire communities, fostering loving environments where he can encourage people to embrace challenges and find their sense of belonging, thereby stating exactly how he plans to continue making awesome contributions to his future college community. Terrific. In the spirit of the 3-scene essay, I have 3 presents for you all. 1, if you're looking for professional help editing your montage essay to perfection, check out our site, elevated.school/editmyessay. You can use the code MONTAGE15 to get 15% off your first edit. My second present, our essay brainstorming tool. Check it out, it's completely free this year, and I'll add the link in the comment section below. Third present, you already know, a video of me breakdancing. Thanks for sticking until the end, guys. Until next time, peace.